Public Q&A presents Ask Reddit question. In 40 years, what will people be nostalgic for? The internet. Hell, I am nostalgic for it now. Not the final form that the internet has taken over the past decade or so, but those Wild West days before YouTube, Facebook, social media, Reddit. Finding weird-ass sites, GeoCities pages, looking up cheat codes for GTA, hanging out on forums, seeing something go truly grassroots viral, and not just because it's trending on Instagram or something. Those days when no company knew what the hell the internet was or how to market on it. It was just left to the nerds and the kids who were making up the rules as they went along. I miss when the internet felt like a little adventure rather than a time sink or utilitarian tool to get the day-to-day done. Yeah, there was something so satisfying about sitting in front of a boxy screen, clicking on that dial-up, waiting for the connection, and then just surfing random shot for a couple of hours. And that was it. A couple of hours. My first internet plan back in 1998 was $20 a month for 8 hours. 8 hours of internet a month. I don't want to live in the world where someone says, "Don't you miss 2020, it was simpler time." Pretty sure it will happen though. Nostalgia will always be a thing. Nostalgia just isn't what it used to be. Pop able bubble wrap. I hate that bubble wrap that the air just moves to the next bubble when you try to pop it. That stuff should be illegal. You're goddamn right. What? It's evil stuff. If you are taking about what I think you are taking about, it is technically more effective because it is cushioned but doesn't pop. But I found out that you can pop it by bunching up one row of them and squeezing. It honestly just as satisfying, if not more in my opinion, once you learn how to do it. Safer transport and better popping. You know, I want to believe you, but I am also a stuck-up classicalist who just wants my damn separate bubbles. From somebody who likes to pop bubble wrap, what? In the fucking hell? Did you just say? In case you haven't seen, there is now bubble wrap that will not pop. All the bubbles are connected and have plenty of free space. It's bad. What demonic being thought of such a horrible thing? I mean, it does work better at its intended packing purpose. It's also reusable. A popped bubble no longer functions as a cushion, but that stuff can be used for a long while. Movie DVDs. With everything going digital, I think production houses will soon stop making DVDs and just start streaming the movies in either their respective streaming platforms or sell them to other platforms like Netflix. Got me a new music CD today. Friends think I'm insane. I like physical movies, CDs, books, and video games. I am 16. Sure, digital is more convenient. But some reason I like to hold my possessions. Plus being able to save movies/CDs to my computer and lending them to my pals. Well, they're still making vinyl records and collector's editions of DVDs, and Blu-rays make a ton of money, so I think we'll still have physical media. Back in my days we used video games with controllers. You mean you have to use your hands? That's like a baby's toy. Baby's toy? You must have the hostage special. All I want is a Pepsi. Give me a tab. I can't give you a tab unless you order something. Just give me something without any sugar. Beans, chicken, BB beef or pork. Welcome to the Cafe 80s, where it's always morning in America. Even in the afternoon. Hey McFly. I was talking to my sons the other day, they asked me about my first job. I was telling them how fun it was working at McDonald's in high school, and a friend that I made. We would finish our shift then go to the mall and play games at the arcade. At that instant I realized I might as well said we would get a root beer float at the soda shop then go to the sock hop to meet some girls in our hot rods. Crazy how fast things change. So anyway, Joey and me used to whip through work, nay down to the jewel shop, dab on some haters and go home to play Fortnite until our parents shut off the Wi-Fi. So anyway, I started blasting. But the problem was I don't see good neither. I am 36 and only understand like 40% of what you've said here. I am over 50, but lived with 5 teens until a couple of weeks ago. I envy your lack of understanding. It is so embarrassing when I accidentally call my cat a thought at the vet or use yeet in public. I have a doctorate, FFS. Time to yeet your degree, you thought cat having degenerate. I was once on the phone with Blockbuster Video, which is a very old-fashioned sentence. That's like when your gram would be like, we'd all go play jacks by the soda fountain. And you're like, nobody knows what you're talking about, you idiot. You know, how you talk to your grandma. Video games with telepathic controls will be cool though. High-quality Nerf blasters. Nerf no longer makes anything worth buying unless you think it looks nice, in my opinion. If you are not already, buy all your blasters and darts from Dart Zone. Kind of related. What happened to good super soakers? When I was a kid we had super soakers that you pumped up and they stored air pressure in a tank, then you could shoot a consistent water stream. Now when I see kids play with super soakers, the guns don't seem to have a pressure tank. The gun fires on every pump. It doesn't store pressure. What the hell? That's obviously a downgrade. I think I saw something once that said it was related to a patent dispute or something. Actually related. A guy did an AMA about inventing and developing them both a while back. Web address. Dart Zone is the fucking truth. I think Nerf got worried about the PR from injuries and nerfed, their own guns. Dart Zone doesn't give a shit about your safety. Strong springs, tough rubber darts, those are the real deal. And way more accurate waffle darts. Waffle darts are where it's at. Hasbro gonna give you some more of that solvent weld just to save 2 cents per blaster. I think YouTube. Like how us 80/90s babies miss early Nickelodeon and Saturday morning cartoons, I think future generations will miss the unlimited content. I mean, it's already there. Remember video replies? Most don't. It used to be a thing when YouTube worked more like a social media site. YouTube has already changed so much. I think a lot of people are also going to miss the money they made. A lot of people became set up for life going forward. I know, right? I miss when you could change the background on your YouTube channel before Google took over. Video replies would be massively useful these days too. What a shame. I miss the bulletins. They were awesome in theory, but even when YouTube was lower traffic they were full of trash. And back then a big video had like 100k views. Now with videos getting 10m, and on the regular, it would just be white noise. It's a shame, because I really liked them for some situations. But it just wasn't sustainable. I already miss pre-2010 Wild Wild West YouTube before greedy media companies and artists threatened takedowns and before monetization spawned ads, annoying celebs, and an overwhelming amount of content just to generate views. Just like most things, there's an early conception and test phase that's usually built and expanded by a passionate fan/user base. Then once it becomes popular enough the bean counters start to stick their paws into it, then it turns to shit. I know it's become a cliche at this point, but this really resonates with the before it became mainstream feeling. YouTube is a perfect example. It used to have a small community type feeling to it, where anyone or any idea could really be the next big video. But now it's more like cable television, and for the most part feels so disconnected to the original user base. Oh well, there will always be the next thing. You could find whole movies chopped into 13 to 14 10-minute pieces. This is a point. I already miss the debatably good pre-2015 YouTube rewinds. Edit, thank you for the award. Yeah, I don't dislike the stuff that's on there now, well, other than the obligatory ads, but there was definitely a DIY quality to a lot of the older YouTube videos. Now they all seem like professional productions, which again isn't bad, but it's just different. I think a lot of that is because it's much easier to have a professional quality look to videos now. Like phone cameras are good enough, and there's free editing software that you can use with free tutorials for it. This is only partly true, and I wouldn't even say the biggest reason. The largest reason is sponsorship and money revenue in YouTube. Ads being their revenue stream mean that larger and more professional channels will accumulate views and be pushed by the algorithm. 5 years ago you didn't see every Jimmy Fallon video pull millions of views because there simply wasn't a channel and market for it. Nowadays, it's almost akin to network television with how many large media companies are on YouTube, and it buries anything DIY before we can even have a conversation about your point, which is also true. Yep, and it's what makes YouTube feel borderline inaccessible right now. I miss curated front pages of small creators. Was on there myself one time, and it was probably the most exciting moment of my life. As someone who has been regularly on YouTube for a decade, I've never cared about rewinds. I think I'll be more nostalgic to certain creators and time periods. For example, gameplay montages synced with punk music. I don't know, I already miss the early days of YouTube where you had friends instead of followers, and you rated videos out of 5 stars, and you could directly reply to vids with other vids. Sigh the good old days. Edit, oh, and the algorithm was actually good. God knows why they messed with that. I used to spend hours on there stuck in a tunnel. Now I watch one vid, and I am done. Being able to say it must have got lost in the mail, or I didn't get your text as a lie for ignoring someone. I work in tech and the old joke is features, schedule/budget, quality, pick 2. I don't think you need to worry about losing bad quality communication to blame things on anytime soon. In hardware it's fast, cheap, or good, pick any 2. Can I double pick one, like when I order my sides and tell them double fries? Cheap and cheap please. Sure, it will be ready in 2032 and won't work. But oh boy, it was freaking cheap. Most people have already chosen this, which is why we get such crap products. Construction 2. Probably gaming. It will be very different in 40 years. Honestly, full dive VR will probably be around by then. Give us the VR from Futurama, and I am gone from this mortal coil. Or the one in Black Mirror, with the fucking your friends feature optional. That was just poor play testing. Like that entire episode 1 was just picturing the massive ratings controversy and spin control when that feature leaked to the general public. And some poor guy having to test if they'd finally patched out genital support. Yeah, the concept was good, but man, they could have gone for a game type that would realistically have a reason to include nudity and sex, an adult RPG, or something like Second Life. First person to get Second Life as a full dive VR game has effectively won infinite money. VR chat is close for modern day, but still a long way off what it needs to be. At this rate, we'll probably still be playing the latest port of GTA V on the latest console. GTA X Fortnite crossover in Skyrim. Nah, in 40 years it'll still be trash in Rocket League, so not much will change. What a save. What a save. What a save. Nice one. Chat disabled for 3 seconds. Chat disabled for 3 seconds. Chat disabled for 3 seconds. Chat disabled for 2 seconds. Chat disabled for 2 seconds. Chat disabled for 2 seconds. Chat disabled for 1 second. Chat disabled for 1 second. Chat disabled for 1 second. What a save. Chat disabled for 3 seconds. Freedom on the internet. We are past that point already. I am nostalgic for it already. Privacy and water. Oh, you will have water. But it will cost you a lot. Nestle entered the chat. Fuck Nestle. All my homies hate Nestle. I have a running joke that I am from the future, and I am relieved that I am back in the glory days of 2020. Don't let him run too far. People are complaining that this summer is too hot. I am just over here enjoying the coolest summer for the next 100 years. This was the comment that depressed me. Can I borrow your sports almanac? Take my word for it, bet against the Harlem Globetrotters. Their win streak is gonna end soon. Trust me. Driving a car yourself. I hate this because I haven't had my license in a while, and I kind of wanted to maybe drive again, but probably not. Maybe you can go to a track or something in the future, drive an old Timmy combustion engine car. In the future, driving cars will be like riding horses today, an expensive hobby, mainly for the rich. Damn it. Well, on the bright side, at least there's no shit to pick up. Top 3 things that came to my mind. Going to the movies, being able to flip to a random channel, driving to places. Maybe 40 years is too soon for this to be nostalgic, but it'll happen soon enough. Damn, the movie one hit hard. A small local theater near me just shut down for good, and I can't express how disappointed I'd be if the movie theater industry just never pops back up after this pandemic. Some of my best childhood memories are from the movie theaters. Nah, I think they'll be heading for a golden age. Hollywood won't stop making movies. But they don't have to release them to theaters. I think indie movie theaters at a higher cost will stick around, though. Privacy. If the governments do it right, they'll slowly erode people's privacy rights, and few, if any, will notice or complain. In fact, it's already working. Congress renewed the Patriot Act last November, and the Senate voted this year to allow the CIA and FBI the ability to view a citizen browser history without a warrant. Do you remember either event being seriously covered in major media outlets, and do you remember any mass public outcry? Me neither. Edit, many people are repeatedly bringing up private data collection by companies. This is also a serious issue, and it's not mutually exclusive. Both problems need to be fixed. My family and friends couldn't understand why I, a lifelong computer nerd, was so bent out of shape about the Patriot Act. Well, if you got nothing to hide. Bullshit excuse. Edit, wow, top comment I ever had. I'm trying to update every comment just because it is what should be. That, or well, it's just to catch terrorists. Pfft. Like they would use Google or WhatsApp. Actually, that would make it more safe to use some sort of bad video game with a chat function that has about 100 people per day. No one would suspect a terror network on a random online pony game for 3-year-olds. Already been done. It's been done so much that I've seen it in a movie or TV show. I don't remember what it was, but they used some knockoff CS:GO style game to organize events. Edity, no, NCIS did it. Please stop bringing it up. Thanks. It was used in the Jack Ryan TV show for the terrorists to communicate amongst themselves. Arguing that you don't care about the right to privacy because you have nothing to hide is no different than saying you don't care about free speech because you have nothing to say. Edward Snowden. They don't care about rights of the accused until they are the one being accused. To this I always say, if a policeman knocked on your door right now, no warrant, they just want to look around, would you let them? The answer is always no. I always say, so why is your computer different? It always ends the conversation. Sad thing is, some people would be okay with that, with or without the caveat that it'll never happen because they don't do anything that would make cops want to. This exactly, I would say, instead of some an alarming amount would. Could easily just be my perspective, but the mentality of nothing to hide has been accelerating. I think this is about the time someone posts the "Don't Talk to Cops" YouTube video. Let's get rid of the First Amendment. It's totally okay. We have nothing to say. That's the most BS thing I've ever heard. I like my privacy. You wouldn't want someone to just randomly waltz into your living room on a Sunday, so why would you want someone looking at your internet history? If you have nothing to hide, you'll be okay sending your daily photos, location tracking data, personal emails, and social media messages to both your employer and the government. I usually say that, but replace the government with me. What if you got nothing to hide from me? I could read your mail, or your location tracking, your emails, etc. To me, I usually get, it's not the same. Yes, it is. It's exactly the same. It isn't just the Patriot Act. They also tried to sneak in anti-privacy laws through other things like FOSTA/SESTA, and the Earn It Acts. Because they're embedded in anti-sex trafficking laws, nobody wants to be the one going, actually sex trafficking is good. Except, ironically, sex workers and victims of sex trafficking, since they know they aren't actually helped by those laws. In case it wasn't obvious, I am saying sex workers did not support FOSTA/SESTA because they knew the law would put them in danger of becoming sex trafficking victims, which it did, and because they saw the law for what it was, which was a cover for the groundwork of censorship and anti-privacy laws. Nobody listens to sex workers, but they are like the canary in a coal mine for a lot of social issues. Drinks full of sugar, food full of salt. Oh, and antibiotics that still work. I'm still angry they took the cocaine out of my Coca-Cola. You know you can just add it back in, right? Okay, Mr. Moneybags. Look at this guy with his Coke and Coke. We just spent 5 months with family. Having dinners together, watching TV together, playing games, just being a family. Kids are going to grow up remembering the time they had with their parents and siblings. There will be good memories. This was more wholesome than I first expected. Adults forget how resilient kids are. I can guarantee most of the adults complaining about getting back to normal would love to go back and have just 1 month with their dad playing catch or watching TV. Oh, for sure, personally I've struggled more out of lockdown. I like my little bubble. Feels like the world was paused. I'm happy for society as a whole for getting this safe time at home, but I'm extremely jealous. My job got busier. I work in food and beverage production, because people were staying home. I had to work even more time than usual because of the pandemic. I'm grateful for the money, of course, but I do wish I had the opportunity that a lot of people had to spend time with family at home. Freedom and privacy. We are losing both at an alarming rate, with almost no public attention to it. By design, sadly. Polar bears and bees, which will also mean many fruits and nuts. Yep. I believe they can pollinate manually. However, the process makes them super expensive. And a million other species, based on a 1,500-page UN report, 1 million species may be pushed to extinction in the next few years, with serious consequences for human beings as well as the rest of life on Earth. We are experiencing at least the second fastest extinction event on the planet at present. The rate of extinction of species is estimated at 100 to 1,000 times higher than the background extinction rate, the historically typical rate of extinction in terms of the natural evolution of the planet. Also, the current rate of extinction is 10 to 100 times higher than in any of the previous mass extinctions in the history of Earth. Sad to think that my children and grandchildren are inheriting a shell of a natural world we enjoyed. There are already so many animals that are hanging on by a thread, and so many that are functionally extinct, doomed to extinction because their gene pool is so small. Not just species, but habitats too. The Great Barrier Reef. Gone. The last of the world's mountain glaciers. All but disappeared. The Brazilian rainforest. Hanging on by the skin of its teeth. I work in sustainability, and it's kind of my job to stay positive about this stuff, but I have seen precious little cause for optimism lately. So true. Every time people tell me how I should try and be a little more optimistic about these things, it feels so strange to me. Man, I want to be optimistic. It's not like I am some fan of brutal apocalyptic stories going wild. I am really trying to stay positive here. But at this point I can't help but feel like I am lying to myself, to be able to cope, and to keep other people happy who don't want to be disturbed while also lying to themselves. Sorry for the ramble. Thank you so much for working in your job field. People like you give me hope even if you struggle with keeping hopeful yourself. Love. Probably a lot of stuff people will be nostalgic for isn't even invented yet. 40 years ago was 1980. I was a teenager. If that question had been asked then, some very similar answers would have been given: clean air, clean water, clean earth, non-radioactive land. Between 3 Mile Island and the getting hot Cold War, we thought there was a pretty good chance of some kind of nuclear apocalypse. Various species of animals, neither the California condor nor the American buffalo, among others, were looking too good. There was some general fear about computers, and what they could slash would do. See films like 1983's War Games, and yet, here we are. A little better in some aspects, and a little worse than others. 2020 is quite a downer of a year, but human beings are endlessly optimistic and adaptable. I predict in 40 years we'll look back on some of our fears today like 80s folks look back on things like Genesis Land of Confusion video, a little nostalgic, a little embarrassed, and a little humbled by both how much and how little has changed. Agreed, but I'd like to add one: snow. Here in Denmark we haven't had real snow in a while and probably won't anytime soon. You can now buy Danish wine, which is quite alarming to me tbh. Best comment in this thread. Privacy and the ability to go somewhere without seeing 75 cameras all the time. Went to the beach today and no one was in the water except for me and my friend. Everyone else was waiting for golden hour in their dry beachwear. Golden hour. It's a photography term for when the sun is at the perfect height, making for great photography light. Usually between 6 to 8 p.m., source, and photographer. Also 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. for the sunrise. God, this comment section is depressing. It's Reddit, will be alright, I promise. These replies are depressing. No wonder no one wants kids. Kids, remember kids? Remember people used to get pregnant and have wee babies and all. Ah, those were the days/s. I just watched Children of Men last night. Man, your comment just got to me. I've never seen it. Worth a watch. It's an amazing film which has stood the test of sci-fi time. There's an incredible one-take scene near the end of the film. Definitely check it out. Definitely. Healthy spines and happiness. Things aren't what they used to be, is the rallying cry of small minds. When men say things used to be better, they invariably mean they were better for them, because they were young, and had all their hopes intact. The world is bound to look a darker place as you slide into your grave. Nikamo Koska. I am already nostalgia for a healthy spine. There is an entire generation that's growing up on finger puppet videos and random kid-themed YouTube channels right now. Honestly, I'm scared of the hell to be brought upon us in 30 to 40 years. Yes, the Spider-Man Elsa generation. Clean air. I am already nostalgic for the time before forest fire season. Imagine how clean the air must have been during biblical times, when you'd be the only person for miles. And the stars. With no light pollution, the night sky is so beautiful. My brother is a forestry firefighter in the Rocky Mountains up here in Canada, and I am a couple hours away from the mountains in an industrial city, doing welding manufacturing. I am used to the awful smells of big trucks, trains, meat and agro-processing plants, and of course all the nice fumes in a welding shop. When my brother returned from an uneventful fire season, he couldn't stop complaining about all the smells having to pick me up after work. I was nose blind, and every few kilometers he smelt something different but equally awful. I'm guessing you're not old enough to remember the air in the 70s-80s in Lane. I'll take today and likely the future any day over the smog alerts. Hardcover books. I'm already nostalgic for bookstores. There's one or two around me, but pre-pandemic, they were on their way out. Buttons. Flipping through cable aimlessly, not really sure what will be on any channel, and just going today, I learned you hit something decent. The place I am at now has free cable included, and sometimes I'll waste hours just flipping through. It feels just like the early 2000s again, and is a crazy throwback feeling to watching TV before everything was on apps and on demand. You kinda forget you used to watch TV by finding the channel, and how you felt like you just found $5 if you happened to catch a good episode rerun of one of your favorite sitcoms late at night when most of the channels were doing late-night infomercials. Or how if you couldn't find anything good, so you'd just sit there and watch an infomercial about Bowflexes for half an hour. And watching the news air on TV instead of getting news through YouTube videos or posts on social media. If you wanted to know whether it was gonna rain that weekend, you had to wait. Today, I learned the news cycled back to the weatherman every 20 minutes or so. Having to plan bathroom sprints around commercial breaks, so you didn't miss a big play during a big championship game. The experience of watching porn by Cinemax late at night when everyone else in the house was asleep. Planning your whole afternoon around getting all your errands done by dinner time, so you could catch 40 or Judge Judy. Watching cooking shows in your underwear and trying to write down a recipe, and getting mad because you missed a step, and it's live so you can't rewind it like you can now with DVR or on demand. Using a physical copy of a TV guide you bought at the gas station to find out when all the good movies are on TV when planning a lazy weekend at home. Comfortable temperatures. Laughs in Texan. Yee ha ha ha. Work-related pensions. They don't exist already for the large majority of us. Cash money. Besides the occasions when dealing with cash is just a lot more convenient, it's art. All those paper bills and coins are designed. Some are beautiful. Also, there's still a little bit of privacy left in paying cash for things. Their youth. Having people stay 6 feet away from you at all times and all places. The environment that COVID showed us when we stopped polluting it for 2 weeks. Nah, it's alright, we'll go back to polluting in about a year or so. Already started. Ahead of schedule. Bois. Minecraft. It's already nostalgic for me, and I still play it. Wow. You are still with us. Thanks for being such a nice person. As long as you are here, why not like this video and subscribe to our channel? Also, you can press the bell icon, so you won't miss any future uploads.